Hi, my name is David, and I work at nights. Hmm, Been working nights for almost 20 years, helping people with their sleep issues. I work as a sleep tech. Basically, I stay up all night watching somebody else sleep, check and see how they're breathing. Check for sleep apnea. I enjoy the work. Can be a little awkward at times since I'm like I said, I'm awake in the middle of the night doing this type of work, and I have to sleep during the day. And yes, there are issues with it, but overall, I enjoy it. Been doing it for, like I said, almost 20 years now. Again, sometimes have some issues with my own sleep, but over time, figured out how to better take care of myself. And that's kind of the idea of this program is to talk about working nights. You know, so talk about my own experience. Plan to talk to other people, let them give a chance to tell their story about what it is to work the night shift. We work at nights like this. Actually, I enjoy the work, but at the same time, I'm aware of some issues I have with it. Because that there's things maybe I don't get to do. I hear about some show, movies playing, and I can't go to it because I'm working that night. Or may I hear about some group having some sort of meeting? Same thing. It's like unless I know ahead of time, I may end up missing it. But at the same time, the work is actually fulfilling. I mean, I am helping people. I am kind of in charge of what's going on, because I'm basically just working myself, working with some people, some patients. And that actually can be, one of the good things about this, kind of, yeah, I kind of in charge of the situation, and I'm, willing to take responsibility for the action, whatever I have to do there, because I got people depending on me. Man, a lot of other people, of course, work nights. I mean, I work in the medical field myself. Like I said, we're watching people watching people sleep, seeing how they're breathing. I also know people work, say, in emergency rooms. Emergencies have a bad habit of happening when they're able to deal with them, like in the middle of the night. But you got people there working in the hospital, kind of trying to take care of people come in, because something's gone wrong. They're help, or you got people working nights, kind of keeping an eye on things. The security guards doing like that. Police officers or fire people working, fire department. They're out there, on standby in case there are some problems. People, having issues or whatever. And of course, you got the people working other jobs at night. You got the people working in the various warehouses, making sure those things we ordered online are able to get to us in time, or working factories or whatever that do have a night shift because they're that busy. They got to keep things going. I mean, we got here in Houston, I got the people working the oil refineries. You can't just shut those down at night. You got to keep those things going. So they got people working there, and yeah, it can be awkward. I mean, we humans by nature are daytime creatures. Most people, they sleep at night, work during the day, doing fine. But then, like I said, there's those of us who are fulfilling a need because, you know, while may all us individually may be able to kind of, take a break and go get some sleep during that, our culture as a whole, civilization, can't just stop. So we are fulfilling a need. And the idea I have for this program, is to help, to talk about people, those of us who are working nights, kind of, to be able to tell our stories about, why we're doing this, what do we get from it? I mean, some people work nights because, well, quite frankly, it pays good. Okay. Other people work nights because, quite frankly, that's just what works for them. They are by nature nocturnal. You know, they're just somehow being up all night just works better. In my case, I mean, before I started doing this, I would say I wasn't necessarily a nocturnal person, but I did tend to be an evening person. I mean, actually, before I started working the job I have now, the career, I was working for a while in a factory, and they had me working the afternoon evening shift, working from 2 to 10, and that seemed to work. But then through some mix-up, I ended up getting found myself working the morning shift where I had to be at work, say from 6 to 2, and somehow this just did not work. My brain, you know, couldn't handle trying to get up early, but it'd be okay staying up late. So, and again, gotta kind of figure out how our bodies work, what works for us, and I guess been playing around ideas for this YouTube channel. I mean, I already do some stuff on YouTube. If any of you into model trains, I got a channel on the subject of how to build model trains. Might put a link in the description for this. But also, looking for other ideas. And honestly, because of my work schedule, the other channels, takes a little more work to, do it right. And we just don't have time to work it. Whereas this theme, I think I can fit it in with my work schedule better. And like I said, I'm basically talking about something which I'm personally experienced, and I know other people have experience with too. And so my vision for this channel is be a program for people who work nights and, of course, kind of talk, like I said, tell our stories. How do we deal with working nights? How do we make sure we get our own sleep? Like I said, my job involves working with people who are having issues with their sleep. And of course, through my own experience, I've found ways to deal with that, make sure I get my own 7 or 8 hours sleep every day. And as part of the idea of doing this channel, I've already been doing some research, kind of looking at other YouTube channels, reading some stuff, and well, how people deal with, make sure they get their own sleep. And some of this stuff I already know myself, but yeah, I'm actually learning some new stuff myself that, hey, I need to, pay attention to this, kind of work with that. And I'm already seeing some benefits for myself in doing it. Because, we who are working the night shift, whatever that may look like, of course, we are doing things which is kind of backwards from how most people are, biologically wired. Saying earlier, most people are, do stuff during the day and sleep at night. And the way our bodies are set up to function, that seems to be what works best. Sleep during the night, lay in bed, resting, body's still, the brain is still working, doing stuff to it. It's kind of processing this, previous day's experiences, cleaning the cluttered stuff out, doing things like that, and uses that downtime to have, like I said, kind of reorganize things. Make sure you get a good night's sleep and your memory will be better. Okay, things like that. Whereas those of us who, like I said, are up all night, sleeping during the day, we kind of have to be careful of that. It can have an effect on our health. I mean, again, I'm doing the research, but all kinds of crazy stuff might happen if you're not getting enough sleep, and at the same time, you're, like I say, staying all night, sleeping during the day. Again, we're kind of having to turn things around. So my vision, of course, what I hope to do with the program, with this channel, talk about things like that, about how we can deal with that, make sure we get our own sleep, make sure we're taking care of ourselves. And like I said, I want to talk to people who are all other people working the night shift. Kind of, get a chance to, get in here, tell their stories and know they're being heard. Kind of sharing our experiences. So, anyway, that's the idea for this channel. Looking forward to doing it. Looking forward to hearing from you about how, what good you're getting from listening, watching. Any ideas? Definitely welcome that. So with that. Let's go and close it out, and we'll go and say, just toast it all, with toasting with some chocolate milk. All you who do work the night shift, do things backwards, helping people. You're working, the police, train crews run the trains all night. Delivery drivers, people working in factories, working in hospitals, other medical facilities. Raise this glass of chocolate milk to you and say thank you for your effort. And with that, thank you for watching. I wish you all a good night. Or should that be a good day? Okay, I'm going to bed. Okay, bye.